Crime is not something you really think of when you think of Solana Beach.
And I'm scared to death. I don't want to be a part of this.
On the screensaver, she saw a picture of a pair of naked, nude breasts. There were some pretty shocking videos of her involved in sexual activities.
It's a complete betrayal of trust.
Tom was a business partner, very much an environmentalist and a conservationist.
They don't know where Tom is at, so they don't even know what they have. They don't know if they have a missing person. They don't know if they have a homicide.
They look in the bedroom, they look in the living room, trying to find evidence of life. Have you seen Tom? Where is Tom?
But we're trying to find Tom. Do you know where Tom is?
No. Who called him missing?
Around 7 a.m., they discover this pile of trash in the driveway, which they had ignored before.
Detective Rosa Patron looks at the pile of trash and says, hey, has anyone checked this pile yet?
Your wife is in a bar. You said she's under Sanjay.
This is what he's going to tell you.
How to get out of that situation.
And I grabbed the gun.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir.
The only thing they could do was kill him.
You want to say anything?
We, the jury, and to find the defendant.
Well, 2020 is finally over, much to the relief of most of us.
New Year's Day, January 1st, 2021, at around 1 p.m.
Sheriff's Communication, Dispatcher 5538. How can I help you today?
Last night, a friend of mine asked me to come over, and she said that she had possibly killed, or she said she killed her stepdad, and asked me to move the body with her.
Okay.
Dispatch doesn't know what to make of it. This confession, this murder that may or may not happen.
And I never saw the body, and I left. And I stewed on this all night. I know I should have called right then. I didn't know what to do. I barely slept. I was thinking about it all night.
Okay. And what is your name?
My name's Adam.
Adam Sipliak. And his call is about a friend named Jade Jenks.
I don't know if she really did this.
Okay.
And I don't know if she seems suicidal, you know what I mean? And I'm scared to death. I don't want to be a part of this. And I don't know if she really killed this guy.
The guy, according to the caller, was a man by the name of Tom Merriman.
It's her stepdad that lives in the house next door. I'm nervous, you know what I mean? Because she put me there and I didn't call, you know what I mean, for 12 hours after what she told me. And I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to do... Absolutely. And so because you're not sure, I'm going to have a deputy contact you.
Okay.
Tell them what happened, tell them your side, and they're going to go from there, okay?
Okay.
Deputies were dispatched to the Solano Beach section of San Diego, to a location on Nardo Avenue, where both Tom Merriman and his stepdaughter, Jade Jenks, lived.
They need to do what they needed to do, which is to see what's going on. So they start reaching out to see where Tom is. When they go to Tom's apartment to prepare to do a welfare check.
They look in the bedroom, they look in the living room, trying to find evidence of life. They can't find Tom. They get more details, and now they're starting to call numbers, knock on doors. Have you seen Tom? Where is Tom?
Crime is not something you really think of when you think of Solana Beach. It's honestly just known as a really great, safe, quiet place to live.
And Tom Merriman and Jade Jenks were known to have a close and loving relationship, even after Jade's mother and Tom divorced.
They continued their relationship and actually grew closer together.
She was definitely someone that Tom relied upon as far as taking care of him, as far as helping him with his health, helping him go to the doctor, going to the hospital, things like that.
Tom was well known in the area as the founder of a nonprofit butterfly farm.
Tom was, as a business partner, working together 7 days a week for over 10 years, very much an environmentalist and a conservationist. He was a smart guy, incredibly intelligent.
Definitely a gentle soul, someone who was very, very focused on conservation and educating the community about butterflies.
I literally was expecting him back to work that day or the next day.
And Jade Jenks was known for her thriving interior design business.
Jade was a very dynamic individual, and she has a really good personality, and was developing a pretty niche practice there in the Solana Beach area.
The search for Tom continued all of New Year's Day.
Maybe it's just a misunderstanding, because they don't know if this is actually true. They can't find Tom. And they see Jay Jenks leaving her driveway, and they pull her over, and they want to question Jade to see if she knew where Tom was.
So today is Friday, January 1st, 2021, and we are at the North Coastal Sheriff's Station here in Encinitas. It is
9:01 p.m. or 21 over.
Okay, and we're about to interview Jade Jenks in regards to case number 211000109. My name is Rosa, and this is my partner Noah. We work for the San Diego Sheriff's Department. Okay, we're assigned to the homicide unit. Okay, we're here to talk to you about why you're here. But obviously, before we can do that, we want to hear your side of the story. We want to know what's going on, why you're here today. Okay, and so, but before we can do that, we need to read you your rights. Okay, so now having in mind and understanding everything that I have told you, we're here to talk to you about what happened last night. Okay, and so we're just gonna have a conversation. We're gonna take it slow. Okay, and we're gonna just talk to you. Okay, so you're an interior designer. You said you've been doing it for 18 years, and you have your business for a little over a year.
They got some background information about her relationship with Tom.
And so Tom is who?
It's my stepdad once removed.
Okay. Married to your mother?
Was, yeah.
Was, okay. How long ago were they married?
About 20 years ago.
Oh, wow, okay. So you said you haven't spoken to her in 12 years?
At least, well, maybe 13.
Any reason why?
She's nuts.
Oh, okay. And are you married?
No.
Okay. Ever been married?
No.
So tell me about Tom. What is he like? What relationship do you have with him?
Can you tell me what I'm being about? I'm just really nervous with what to answer. This seems like a really big deal, and I don't want to say something wrong. Can you tell me?
Well, we're trying to find Tom. Do you know where Tom is?
No. Who called him missing?
His family hasn't seen him for over 48 hours, so...
He just got released from the hospital yesterday.
Okay. Did you see him yesterday?
Yeah, I picked him up from the hospital.
Okay. Do you know where he went?
No. Well, can you tell me, other than he's just missing?
That's all we don't know where he's at. We're trying to find him.
Okay.
And so you were the last one to see him because you picked him up from the hospital. So that's why we want to talk to you about him.
And then she asked for her lawyer. At that point in time, legally, you're prohibited from asking her any question. During the interview, the police are searching for Tom. They haven't found him yet. They have no evidence to book her for murder or anything else, so they release her.
They don't know where Tom is at, so they don't even know what they have. They don't know if they have a missing person. They don't know if they have a homicide. They're just trying to figure out what's going on. We're now talking probably midnight. It is dark outside. So they write up the search warrant. They contact a judge.
They search Tom's apartment high and low, Jay Jenks's apartment high and low, waited for daylight to search the driveway and other areas outside.
Around 7 a.m., they discover this pile of trash in the driveway, which they had ignored before.
Gifts and boxes and things like that. It didn't look so out of the ordinary. Detective Rosa Patron of the San Diego Sheriff's Department looks at the pile of trash and says, "Hey, has anyone checked this pile yet?" She removes a couple items and sees the silhouette of a man in a blanket that was buried under this pile of trash. That was Tom Merriman. He still had his hospital bracelet on, still had his socks on, but there he was, dead, and it was clear he had been dead for some time.
It had been just a few hours earlier that Jay Jenks denied knowing anything about it.
A San Diego woman, Jade Jenks, has been charged with first-degree murder in the death of her ex-stepfather, Thomas Merriman, whose body was discovered by deputies with the San Diego County Sheriff's Office. Jenks was arrested at the scene and has entered a plea of not guilty.
People were completely shocked. There were a lot of unanswered questions, and people just really wanted to know how this could happen.
And what had gone wrong between Jade and her stepfather?
We were able to gather the extent of the relationship from looking at the text messages and chat history from both Jade's phone and Tom's phone. Do you want to grab dinner? Hey, can I come over? Would you like to go on a walk?
He'd been intoxicated, and he'd taken a fall and was bloody.
Jade had called 911 and helped get Tom to the hospital and then to a rehab center.
Basically, he's an alcoholic, and so they then had to detox him. Jade was doing a good thing by cleaning out his apartment, which was a mess. She was cleaning it, and she bumped the computer. On the screensaver, she saw a picture of a pair of naked, nude breasts, and she recognized the breasts because there was a beauty mark that was above I think the left breast, and it was hers, and she knew it. And then she hit the space bar again. So there are multiple pictures of her in various stages of undress and at different ages.
Some were explicit, some were scantily clad, and some were fully nude. They were all photographs that Jade and her partner at the time took consensually, so there was no hidden camera or anything like that Tom set up. Somehow he got access to these nude photos, and we will never know how.
It's an absolute invasion in regard to, this is her stepfather that has these photographs. Her stepfather that she has a great relationship with, a stepfather that she does things for. She takes care of him, and he takes care of her. So it's a complete betrayal of trust. So after discovering that, she reached out to a few friends of hers to tell them what she found.
She sent to one friend a copy of the photos. Look what I found. I can't believe this.
And one friend referred Jade to someone who did private security.
And that person's name was Alan Roach, that the person who she thought of as a fixer. She actually paid him to stand guard while she showered. Why is that? She felt so uncomfortable showering by herself, she lived by herself, that Tom could come home at any time.
She also had, at some point, put a tarp down, like a plastic tarp, by her bed with a knife, so that if somebody came in, they'd have to walk on the tarp. So she started freaking out pretty bad.
She was set to pick up her stepfather from the rehab facility on New Year's Eve day.
From what we could tell from the text messages, she was formulating a plan.
She didn't explicitly say in any of the messages, the murder of my stepfather, anything like that, but all these messages really raised a lot of questions.
She was thinking and deliberating and premeditating what to do. And she sent a text message to a friend. His name is Mike Liebert. It might look like it can mean anything. What does I just made the call mean? Maybe it means I made the call to confront him about it. I made the call to move away and tell his landlord and tell his whole family. But that's not the call that she made.
Tom Merriman was released from the Aviara Rehab Center at 11:19 a.m. on New Year's Eve day.
He had hundreds and hundreds of pills because they just gave him a bag full of his own medications.
So she doses Tom with the medication that he was discharged with. The key text message that we knew that this was her plan was I just dosed the hell out of him. And she sent that to the fixer, Alan Roach. That text message was sent after she picked up Tom, shortly after 11 a.m. That told us everything, that this was not something that was an accident, that she had a plan to murder Tom. That was our smoking gun.
Moments after picking up her stepfather, Jade Jenks is seen on a drugstore's surveillance camera.
Tom still wanted his additional medication.
And then to a nearby liquor store.
She bought Tom his favorite alcohol. She picked up some chocolates because those were his favorites and wanted to make sure that Tom got his favorite chocolate since he was just out of the hospital.
And a final stop at a lumber store, with Tom waiting in the car, heavily dosed.
She bought some rope, she bought some towels, she bought 2 sets of gloves, nitrile gloves and nitrile dipped gloves. We called it a murder kit because that's what it was.
She eventually ends up back at their residence. She tries to get him out of the car, so he falls in the driveway, just falls.
And she is not strong enough to pick him up into the back of her car or to carry him down these stairs and into his apartment.
Jade is starting to panic because Alan was supposed to get in contact with her about being back at the house.
Roach does not respond, so Jade texts a girlfriend, Sarah.
And Sarah's boyfriend helps Tom get back into Jade Jenks's Toyota 4Runner into the back. Now she's still reaching out to the fixer. Alan Roach says, I could send my partner, my friend, Brian Solomon, to go and help you.
Solomon is seen on surveillance footage at a store buying some surgical gloves before heading to meet Jade.
Brian Solomon has no idea what is about to happen.
Jade goes, he's drugged. I want you to strangle him, bring him into the apartment, and I'll take care of the rest. Those were the words that Brian Solomon said that she said to him, strangle them. And we asked him, are you certain those were the words? That those are verbatim the exact words that she said. I want you to strangle him, bring him inside, and I'll take care of the rest.
And he gets out of there as fast as he can. He wanted no part of this murder. Nobody saw what was going on. No one could see up this long driveway and into that car. And she decides that she has to go through with the murder on her own. That's when we believe that she puts on the gloves, strangled Tom around his neck as lightly as she could. As soon as she was done strangling him, as soon as she confirmed that Tom was dead, at 5:23 p.m., she sends a text message to Tom saying, checking in on you, how you doing? She wanted to cover her tracks.
It was around 7 p.m. when Jade's friend Adam showed up at her home.
She knew Adam was going to be the type of person not to go to the police, so she thought.
She tells Adam, I drugged him, I suffocated him, I strangled him with a bag. I need you to help. He's in my car. I need you to help me get him back into his apartment. I need it to look like an overdose. He said, I don't want anything to do with this. I love you, but I gotta go.
It is now 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and all of Jade's other friends are off celebrating.
So from what the evidence that we discovered was Jay Jenks was still trying to get Tom's body into his bed to make it look like an overdose. When she pulls him out of her car, he goes down like a bag of rocks. He's too heavy to pick up, and she realizes, oh no, Tom's body is here on the driveway. I have to cover it up and stall. That's when she starts going into Tom's apartment, grabbing boxes and different things, blankets, to cover up Tom's body, and just leaves him there.
It was a short while later that police located Jay.
If you can even imagine what a murderer looks like, it would not be Jay Jenks. She looks like the girl next door. She looks like a regular person.
She discovered something very disturbing. A lot of people would sympathize with her and would dislike the victim.
Oftentimes, the victim gets lost in all of this. Tom Merriman, 64 years old. He was a real person, a living, breathing person that she took away. And we know that he has his issues, his conduct. But this trial is not about his conduct. She was his judge, jury, and executioner. And she buried him under that pile of trash.
From the beginning, I told the jury, how do we know that she murdered him? I showed the jury almost every single text message that was going to come out during the trial in opening statement.
Those text messages were Jade's own words as she planned, premeditated this murder. So they were absolutely crucial.
I just dosed the hell out of him. We brought it up in every single witness that we could, and then brought it up in closing and in rebuttal.
For the defense, Jay Jenks' family was able to hire one of the state's leading criminal defense attorneys, Mark Carlos.
She loved Tom Merriman, and Tom Merriman loved her, just like a stepfather would for a stepdaughter, and just like a stepdaughter would for her stepfather.
I needed to put Jade in a place where she's relatable. All of this life led up to one moment, was when she found those photos, and she had that degree of betrayal from her stepfather, which nobody can quantify. And then everything cascaded from there.
Yeah, she had a motive to scream at him, and a motive to call him out for what he was. But he'd kill somebody, to kill your stepfather, somebody you love, somebody you're there for all day long? No, it doesn't work that way.
As prosecutors began their case, they knew they had to deal with the issue of cause of death.
No signs, forensic signs whatsoever of strangulation. If what Adam and Brian were saying were true, one would think they would see some forensic signs of that, and we didn't have that.
So the medical examiner became a key witness.
Have you seen in either in the cases you've handled or in the medical literature, cases where there's a strangulation but no injuries are present to the neck?
Yes. Fatal strangulation can be caused and not leave an injury that we can see.
But defense lawyer Carlos is known for his skill at cross-examination.
And you can't say to any degree of medical certainty that suffocation occurred in this case, correct?
Yes.
And likewise, you can't say to any degree of medical certainty as an expert that asphyxia was the cause of death in this case. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
The official cause of death of Tom Merriman was listed as an overdose of Zolpidem, Ambien.
It's 0.39 milligrams per liter, which is nothing. It's like 4 pills or 5 pills. How is it that this small amount of drugs could have killed him? How did this guy die?
It was a central question the prosecution would struggle to answer throughout the trial.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I specialize in very, very serious cases. I've tried a lot of murder cases, and she did not appear to me as somebody who's very capable of doing what they said.
The prosecution closed out its case by showing the video of Jay Jenks being interrogated about Tom Merriman.
Do you know where Tom is?
No. Who called him missing?
When you watch the interview with Jay Jenks, and she knows the entire time where Tom was, that he's buried under that pile of trash, and she's lying to the police, she thinks that she could still get away with it.
As criminal defense lawyers in cases like this, you have what's called bad facts, and you need to deal with them. So Jade needed to explain what she meant.
She's going to call your next witness. It's called Jay Jenks.
You know, you got to explain the elephant in the room, and there's no way around it. And in Jade's case, she wanted to clear her name because she didn't kill Tom.
My name's Jade Jenks.
Jade Jenks on the witness stand testifying about the day in December 2020 that she found more than 100 nude photos of herself on her 64-year-old stepfather's computer.
When I went to clean in his office area, I was kind of wiping things down, and I bumped the mouse on his desktop computer, and it shook the screen awake. And I looked, and there's a picture of female breasts on the screen, and I look, I have a beauty mark kind of on my chest, and I look at it, those are my breasts, so it was the most violating, just awful, gut-wrenching feeling ever. I felt sick. I felt I couldn't even touch my own skin. I don't even know if there's words. I mean, not even in a movie have I seen something so just sick.
I need you to take a look through these photos. Jane.
And then the jury was handed a packet of the same photos.
One juror, a female juror, kind of shook her head, briefly looked at it, and passed it on to the next juror. So clearly a defining moment in this case right now.
But then it was time for Jade Jenks to explain that 911 call made by her friend, Adam Sipliak.
Last night, a friend of mine asked me to come over, and she said that she had possibly killed, or she said she killed her stepdad, and asked me to move the body with her.
Did you tell Mr. Siplak that you killed Tom Merriman?
No.
Did you tell Mr. Siplak that you put a bag over his head?
No.
Did you tell him that you strangled him?
No.
Did you tell him that you put a bag over his head and that wasn't doing it fast enough so you had to strangle him?
No. Of course not, no.
Jenks said she left Tom in her car in the driveway overnight to sleep off the effects of the pills and whiskey he had taken on his own.
As I woke up, I got up and I went to the car to see if he was still there, if he had gone home.
Was he there?
Yes.
Did he appear to be sleeping?
Yes.
Did you think he was dead?
I didn't want to think that.
Okay, why not?
I didn't want him to be dead.
Did you touch Mr. Merriman?
Yes.
What did you feel?
I tried to pull his leg, and his pajama pant lifted, and his leg was cold.
Jenks,
Sorry.
did you think Tom Merriman was dead at that point?
I knew he was.
Okay. Again, Miss Jenks, you had a cell phone. Did you think about calling 911?
I was scared too.
Why were you scared?
didn't want to get blamed. I mean, I was the one that picked him up. People knew about the photos. And I didn't want to get blamed for killing him.
Did you kill him?
No.
It's a picture of Tom Merriman, is it?
Yes.
Is this the Tom you remember?
Yes.
The same Tom that had his flaws?
Yes.
Had some weaknesses?
Yes.
Did you love Tom?
Yes.
Did Tom love you?
Yes.
I think it would have been hard to not feel a bit of sympathy. I think anyone can imagine that experience is just extremely violating. I don't think you would look at her and think that she might be capable of something like that.
When someone says, I dosed the hell out of him, you would agree with me that that means someone gave another person a whole lot of drugs, right?
I guess it's a poor phrasing.
Okay. But my question was, you would agree with me that the phrase, I just dosed the hell out of him, implies that you gave Tom a whole lot of drugs.
It does sound like that.
Not only could she not explain, I just dosed the hell out of him, and try to say that was just poor phrasing, she couldn't explain anything else.
When they were asking you questions about Tom, you responded, oh, that's weird, he just got released from the hospital. You remember making that statement?
I do remember that, yes.
You didn't want the police to know that Tom died in your car.
I wasn't trying to hide it, but I didn't want to go alone and tell them that. Yeah.
You weren't trying to hide where Tom was when the police were asking you? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying my intention. At that time, I just wanted an attorney, but before that, let's put it this way, I didn't think I could just leave him out there and like the police would never find him or anything like that. Does that answer?
After Tom died, you covered up Tom's death.
Yes.
You didn't call 911 when you realized Tom died?
No.
You didn't call the cops?
Isn't that the same? No.
You didn't call Aviara?
After?
After you realized Tom was dead?
No, I did not.
You didn't call your dad?
No.
You didn't call your brother Cash?
No.
You didn't call Carol Marks?
No.
Ingrid?
No.
Russ?
No.
Rula?
No.
Alexis?
No.
We knew after Jade Jenks testified that she was not credible. We knew going into closing argument that we had a solid, strong case.
Closing arguments today in the case against a Solana Beach woman charged with murdering her stepfather.
Prosecutor Jorge de Portillo began by playing a clip of Jade Jenks' police interrogation.
Do you know where he went? No.
The entire time she was speaking to the police, she knew where Tom was. She buried him under that pile of trash. She knew he was dead. His family was looking for him. And she lied to the police. And she would have gotten away with it if she just got him into his bed. That's the scariest part. Is it reasonable that she didn't dose him when she said, I dosed him? She never called 911. She had all of those incriminating text messages.
Ending with a dramatic presentation of the prosecution's theory of how Tom Merriman died.
Tom realizes his head, he's been gagged, pillowcase, and a plastic bag over his head. A horrifying death is about to happen. Tom is waking up. The plastic bag is not working. She puts on a glove on her left hand, glove on her right hand, hands on Tom's neck, and just squeezes the life out of him. Holds until he stops breathing. His head is no longer moving. He's dead. Find her guilty of murder. Because the evidence proves it, the law requires it, and justice demands it. Thank you.
The deepest sin against the human mind is to believe things without evidence. What do we have here? What type of evidence do we have? We have a lot of speculation. We have a lot of ideas that Mr. Depardieu has floated to you. We're talking zero evidence of that, other than the prosecutor asking you to speculate that this was the case. We don't know what it's like for Jade, right? One day, bump a computer screen, and all of a sudden, your world crashes because the man that you loved, the man that you looked up to, the man that you cared about so much that you clean up after him, has this. And it's not just that. I provided an evidence of just a small number of pictures. There were hundreds. They were cached in body parts. Jade's shower, Jade, and then the body part. So imagine just for a second what that's like. Imagine what is going through your mind when you see that. The devastation, the betrayal. Fear. Jade Jenks loved her stepfather, would have never hurt him and never killed him. And she just panicked. Instead of calling 911, she panicked. But panicking is not a crime.
The fate of a Solana Beach woman accused of murdering her stepfather is now in the hands of a jury.
Jurors got the case this morning. They deliberated all day, and now they've gone home for the night.
Whenever you have a jury out, you're always worried.
Sometimes jurors decide, well, we can't think it's a murder. We can't say for sure it's a murder. Maybe she did it under a heat of passion or something like that.
I argue that involuntary manslaughter was an alternative. So if she gave medication to him, knowing that he's a drug user, prescription pill abuser, and she gave him enough that he can kill himself with, that could have been involuntary manslaughter.
It was a real possibility that they could have come back with a not guilty.
They came back at 9 o'clock, and then we get a call at 9:30 that they got a verdict.
We have your honor.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please read the verdict?
Superior Court of the State of California, for the County of San Diego, the people of the State of California plaintiff versus Jade Sasha Jenks, defendant. Case number SCN 420772. Verdict, count 1, first-degree murder. We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Jade Sasha Jenks, guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187, subsection A.
I looked over to her to see her reaction and saw her eyes wide, looking at her lawyer.
She looks like she was in absolute shock.
She expected for the jury to understand why she acted the way she did, and for her to be able to walk home that day.
How's Jade doing?
She's not doing well. Jade is in the back. I went and saw her. She's very emotional, afraid about what lies ahead.
The sentence for murder is 25 to life. This was a planned, premeditated murder.
My name is Steve Jenks. I'm Jade's father. Yeah, I can only imagine what she went through when she found out that Tom, her stepfather, a person she trusted, that she called Dad, was a sick, perverted individual. All I can say is this fight is not over. I truly believe that an injustice has taken place. This case was not one on its merit. It was one based on an Oscar-winning performance by the DA.
Ms. Jenks would like to get it also, Your Honor. She can be heard this time.
something to share.
You can remain seated.
Okay. Tom came into my life when I was just a little girl and exerted influence during that early stage of development when I was still figuring things out. Unfortunately, that influence manifested itself into appropriate touch, coercion, reckless behavior, and complete violation of what I now realize is years of psychological manipulation.
She alluded to Tom being inappropriate with her when she was a kid. That was the first time I heard of it. There was no evidence of it.
I don't think the judge liked that too much because that's not what this is about. This is about the murder that she committed and that she was convicted of.
All of this came crashing down on me when I found hundreds of naked photos of myself in his computer. Felt shattered. I'm still picking up the pieces, and it's my sincerest hope that over the next few years, I can put the pieces back and heal from this trauma. I'm sorry I didn't act the way I was supposed to that day. I think about it every day since. And to Tom's family, I understand you hate me for what you believe I did to Tom. However, there's a lot more than you'll ever understand.
I want the court to know the killer gave my brother an undignified death. I want the court to know that only a person Tom trusted would have been able to do this to him. Jade Sasha Jenks deserves the punishment the state will impose on her. She won't be missed. Thank you.
The judge said he considered the naked photos when he made his decision about sentencing.
And I think that the jury ultimately determined that it didn't justify Ms. Jenks' actions. Therefore, they found her guilty of first-degree murder, and I do believe that the evidence supported their conclusion. She will be committed to the Department of Corrections for the term of the rest of her life in prison, with a minimum eligibility of parole date for 25 years from now. So in essence, 25 years to life. The additional on behalf of the defense.
No, yeah.
All right, I'll do the order. Thank you.
As a woman, I understood her point of view, that is an absolute violation. However, Tom, he did not deserve what happened to him.
More milkweed, more milkweed, more milkweed.
He did not deserve to be killed the way that he was killed. He did not deserve to be left out in the cold and be treated and discarded like trash.